Thanks.
Joe in Phoenix, Arizona on the line. Joe, thanks for calling and holding. You're live with Crishaun the Don of Misfit Nation.
My goodness, Crishaun, where to start? First of all, there's already a company called African Ancestry that does trace African roots back to specific countries in Africa.
Okay.
So there's no need for the government to get involved. Secondly, your two examples of the woman being raped and the guy being stabbed. As Hake knows, less than 1.5% of black people commit violent crimes.
I don't know that. I just know that you say that. But go ahead. Continue. I don't want to get bogged down.
So it's absolutely asinine of you to say that, you know.
Did he say less than 1%?
He said no, less than 1.5%.
Less than 1.05%.
Oh, 1.05%.
Of black people commit violent crimes. That is an FBI documented stat. So
I think he figured it out I think he did the math based on FBI stats, which have incomplete crime numbers, and he came up with, he divided that into the population of blacks, and he said more than 1%, but less than 1.05% of blacks commit violent crimes, according to Joe from Phoenix.
So to blame most black people based on the actions of such a tiny fraction is just asinine.
Is he blaming most blacks based on the actions of a tiny percent?
Yes, yes.
Or am I observing something and just commenting on that?
As far as rape goes, the stats clearly show, FBI again, overwhelmingly, if a white woman is raped, it's a white man doing the raping based on proximity alone. So if a white woman was really concerned about being raped, she'd avoid most.
Yeah, but white men virtually don't ever rape black women. It basically doesn't happen, even in FBI stats. It's like it doesn't even register.
I said if a white woman is raped, it's overwhelmingly a white man doing the raping. The FBI stats show that.
I know. I was just giving you another.
But what you just said was,
I wasn't arguing with you.
All you're saying, first of all, Joe from Phoenix, just let me interrupt briefly to address your 2 points.
What is wrong with your line today, Hank? There's a whole lot of static.
Oh, well, I don't know. Okay. Ronnie didn't complain, but okay.
It's your voice. Go ahead. Sir.
Okay, so the first thing.
Bitch, shut up.
Hey, man. You can say that on Jesse's show maybe, but not on Hake's show. We don't say the B word for female dogs here. So
I'm not even cursing.
I'm kind of surprised that you did.
Check your guess trying to be a fake tough guy.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
Hey, come on now.
So you falsely accused Crishaun of blaming most blacks for the actions of a tiny percentage. He was not blaming them. He was just
that was his whole point.
No, it wasn't.
That discrimination, that woman would have been safe if she, had walked the other way.
Yeah, and that wouldn't have hurt the black people that raped her.
Or is that true or false?
She ran into some of the less than 1.05%, and that's terrible and horrible.
Right.
Listen, I can't even argue with you because you're basing your whole argument on a fake stat.
Yeah,
so, I'm not even interested in you.
His whole thing is basically whites do it too, and most blacks are not like that.
It's not a fake stat. It's FBI stats. So
no, it's not.
With them, you idiot.
It's not.
It's not an FBI stat.
It's
nobody's ever quoted that. Even the wokest black person never quoted that stat because they know they'd lose the audience.
Is it an FBI stat, or did you figure it based on the population of black people?
The same thing.
No, it's not. If it's the same thing.
The same
per capita?
thing.
So it's the latter.
How many violent crimes are committed per year, guess? Answer me that. Yeah, you can't.
What's that? What's the argument?
You're an idiot.
What did you say?
He said, how many violent crimes are committed in a year? Guessed.
I don't know the number.
Right.
Off the top of my head.
Because you're stupid and you're an idiot. All right, thank you, Joe. Idiot. I appreciate it, man. You're kind of hyped up today. Take care, man.
I don't know. Why doesn't he go around his neighborhood and get a get a survey?
Man, okay. I got some super chats to read before we get back to calls and things. We're live with Crishaun the Don over on Buy Me a Coffee. Spoiler alert says the concept of quote-unquote racism was invented, he says, in 1936 by the Jewish intellectual Leon Trotsky for the purpose of helping to spread communism. Had you heard that before?
I haven't heard that before, but I wouldn't, doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I've heard
kind of what I'm going with.
A guest from JLP's, a common guest on the JLP show, Bill Lockwood, has said that the communists used the natural fissures in society between black and white, because the blacks and the whites were actually starting to get along pretty well in the South even during Jim Crow. But the communists used the natural fissures in society to divide and conquer. And they used to do it with class. Now they're doing it with race, women, LGBT, and all kinds of stuff.
If you notice, they've been hammering more on sexual identity than race mostly. Like, that's their new thing, because they realized, oh, well, with that, we can get everybody.
Right.
It's not just, we can get straight, we can get gay, we can get trans, we can get black. If you notice, they throw black in there now with LGBTQ.
Yep.
And I've been saying this, that by next year, I believe the black community is going to be the biggest supporters of the LGBTQ.
Wow, that's a shame. And they used to be the ones, they were instrumental by the Mormons in California of voting for Proposition 8 in California in 2008, that a marriage is between one man and one woman in the state of California. The year that they elected Barack Obama, so-called president, we voted in California for marriage to be between one man and one woman, and nothing else is a real marriage. But it was never enforced because the government and the judges and attorney general don't like to enforce just laws. Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
The blacks are being used even more for evil than ever.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's why I kind of predicted that with the whole, everybody was going off about there being a big red wave and the conservatives are going to win huge. The liberals have gone too far. I think we're reading it wrong.
Yeah.
I think that the liberals really have what you said, fissures. They have their hooks in deeper than ever. And the thing is people start seeing like, oh, a bunch of Democrats are coming out and going, we hate Joe Biden, F Joe Biden and this and that.
Right.
First off, that's becoming a trendy thing to do, even with the liberals. So it's the go ahead on Joe Biden. Also, when they say we don't like Joe Biden, the conservatives automatically go, oh, that means they're going conservative. No, that just means they want a more radical leftist. They want an AOC and the squad and those types, or a Bernie Sanders even.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They're not talking about we want Republicans now.
Yeah,
I think that's a
true.
huge miscalculation we make every year. Every election.
JLP has made the point that even the so-called black conservatives, most of them still hate white people. They still think racism exists and is this bad thing, and that they're not the ones who are guilty of the bad thing called racism.
And conservatives are such cowards sometimes when it comes to the black vote,
and kiss
that
ups.
they don't. That's why when the niggas for Trump thing happened, I was like totally
kids.
Against it.
I guess
because anytime you ask one of them, and I'm almost gonna be not MAGA anymore, because once they get involved with something, it's just destruction. So I see the writing on the wall.
Right.
But when you ask a niggas for Trump person, why do you like Trump? It's always,
is that a real thing?
He gave us free money and stimmies and he let Kodak Black out of jail.
Right.
It's like, that's it. There's no change in your like ideology or thinking or anything.
Yeah.
So let me make a prediction on your show real quick. Black people are going to vote for Trump, I think, heavily. But then when Trump doesn't do exactly, like he doesn't give them reparations, they're going to go, we put Trump in office and he ain't do nothing for it. It's going to be the same thing over and over and over. It hasn't changed, trust me. And I hate to be like a negative guy. I'm just telling you the reality of things.